gentle dab with my, just to pull the head of it off. Yeah, it's not all ended up on the floor. I'm happy. Simple plastic, I think it's called drop sheets in some countries. Yeah, it's very thin plastic, quite cheap.
It's an advert.
No promotion. Not affiliated to anybody.
You're wiping it again.
The last use of this tank rag. After all the hard work, this is almost the icing on the cake. Now I'm going to apply the, in this case, grey base coat. That's why we've gone with the darker sealer. Basically a good few coats, cover everything with the grey base coat. Once that's dry, then will be the clear. So, yeah, mask up. We're taking up a nice, this one is a bit crooked, so just adjust the cap slightly. Now I've got a nice pattern there. Okay. What I've done now is adjust the fan down because we're all round here in all these areas. Now the fan is like not an oval. See, the fan's a lot smaller. Adjust it up. See the difference? You can take it right down. It's fully open. I want it somewhere. Of course I'm going to do that. Those small pieces that are hanging up there now, I'll save this bit for last. We're trying to get the edges first. I'm not too worried about getting full coverage on the first coat. So this here is very wet, but that's only because of trying to get in amongst all these veins that stick out. Let's not forget our very nice heavy coat on that. Yes. Sure.
Then next.
Let's this is hang on. This relatively cheap gun, less than £100. This is a low volume, low pressure, very good for a low output compressor, and lays a nice coat of paint on there. I won't be using this gun for the clear goat. I'll use one of a slightly better gun, my Iwata, which is a HVLP gun, which is a high volume, low pressure. Use probably
So basically,
I'm quite happy with the first coat. What we don't try and do is put too heavy a coat on to start with. If you look round here, up here especially, you can still see the behind all the flashing.
It's better
And
here.
here, you see,
Yeah.
don't try and cover everything in one go. You've got plenty of opportunity to cover over with subsequent passes or coats.
Yeah.
But you have to let
Here
this dry.
more.
You can see this is fairly matte now, but the last bit I did was the frame loop. You can see it's shiny. That's because it's not dry, it's obviously wet. But this is pretty much, it's touch dry. I'm not touching this bit here in the likely event that it is wet, but here, so I'll turn this round and there's bits here that I've missed. You see, on the first coat. This thing here is a bit awkward to get colour on it. A lot of that's going to be hidden in it. Checking the base coat to see if I'm happy with it, and I've already spotted a few bits I'm not happy with. So this, it's not a sunlight, it's just an LED light, and it enables me to look at things. You see, if you look, you can highlight these things. Like you see here, it's just a slight. Now I've got to nip that down. Also with this, it enables you to see if it's thin, the paint's thin in any area. But this all looks like good coverage on it. Okay, however on the front here, we have good coverage. Have a look, see here, it's slightly pickled. If you can pick that up with the camera. Right. It's not ideal, the temperature in here, it's quite cold. Even though that fan heater, which I switch off when I spray, it's only about 18, it drops down to 16 because obviously the fans extract the heat and the paint fumes out. This is quite easy, there's no need to panic, just leave it. This is now quite dry, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand these, smooth that off, and just dust a little bit of paint on there. But I should probably do this tomorrow, so once to let all the solvents out, let that dry nicely. I've looked at the other panels, there's a little bit on here. That's just
It's
a little
so bright
bit enthusiastic. I don't because the paint's not fully dry there. The next coat has gone on there.
Mm. But it's not bubble, no?
It's not bubbled, no. This will sand down. I'll show you.
Where? Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see, so you can see more now there. There's no need to panic with this. You just sand. This is a piece of 800, and I just use a sponge pad as a backing for the. You can also use this to take any little imperfections out. There's a bit of dirt there. Sand that smooth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the whole thing with a sponge. I've plenty of the base coat.
A lot of work pala, no?
Well,
Yeah.
what's important to me is it looks right. I have to be happy with it. See, that's gone through there. When I rework something like this is on my time, not on the customers. Yeah, there's a badge that covers that, I'm not too bothered about that.
So you're gonna do that to all of these?
Well, not everything, no. Well, yeah, I may do. Just go over with a sponge.
Yeah.
There's a few little bits in there.
Check it first.
Yeah, you see, like with this, I just use a sponge. That will just nip the head off of that. And just lightly go over everything. It's a very fine abrasive. But the majority of it's okay, and you could lacquer it and it'll look fine. But as soon as I had this, I'm going to unscrew this. I'm going to remove this now. Say this particular part had gone, well, it has gone bad really, and everything else was okay, then I'd set this to one side. I wouldn't worry about it. I would have lacquered everything else, and then when I'm doing the underside of these, I would then paint this. And yeah, this is going to, you may not see it too clearly. See if I can show. This is now smooth. You can see a bit clearly now where it's pickled. Yeah, you can see that. Right, what you do now is you would dust very gently, dust some colour on that, let it dry, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And then you could, once that's dry, lacquer the whole thing. If you were in a rush, not a rush, but against the clock, shall we say. It's not a good idea to rush these things. If you're not happy with something, stop. Walk away. And this little bit down here. Chances are, once that's lacquered, you wouldn't even see that. In fact, it's gone now anyway. But any little bits like this here, a tiny little bit of dirt, you just nip, without knocking the thing on the floor. You just take the head off of it with this very fine microfiber. Then when you lacquer it, it's going to be a lot smoother. If you lacquer over a bit of dirt, then you've got to sand that down. It's better to try and get rid of the bits beforehand. Morning. What I've decided to do was I left this overnight, and this morning I've come down here and I've gone over the whole lot with a very fine, microfine sponge, because I'm going to recoat everything. There you can see quite clearly. This is what's going to get a very gentle dust to give that some colour before the whole thing gets it. Right, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm not pulling the trigger back fully, just dusting on. That's it, right? Nothing more, just that's got to dry.
Retouch. touching.
Yeah, just retouching. Up here as well, see? It's okay for base coat. When it comes to the clear coat, this isn't any good. Right, there's no face protection or eye protection. This, on the other hand, is a full face mask. It's air fed through these filters by the compressor. So I'm getting a direct clean air feed continuously through this. You can take the filters off of this mask and put it on here, which is the same as this mask, but obviously this I've adapted to take fresh air feed. What happens is, though, you're not in a very fast flowing air environment, this lens will, the paint, clear 2-pack paint will stick to it. What I've found, to clean it as soon as possible with degreaser, fully covered up. Face mask, hands, head. This is on its last legs, the zip broke. So I had to use some tape. Right.
Very
Now
important.
clearing here. Well, I'm quite pleased with this, considering the environment. A few bits of dirt in there. Well, that will nip out and polish suitably. I think this is having some design on these side panels. Frame, loop, nice and shiny. A quick coat over the tube because it gets overspray when you're doing the top part. Sometimes I have this a different colour, so obviously that gets masked up. And here my shoes sticking. So that's me finished for the day. Gonna have a shower now. Not ideal temperature. What have we got? 18. Yeah, January's not a good time of the year. A run there. Gentle dab with my, just to pull the head of it off. Yeah. It's not all ended up on the floor. I'm happy.
Morning. What you up to?
Paint the inside of the panels.
The underneath.
Yeah.